Selma and welcome to my book journey. Today I have a really short video for you. It is, well, hopefully it'll be short. I just got back from a free Friends of the Library book sale at a local one here in the next town over from me. And this particular library, usually has a book sale like every once a month, and it's pretty large. And they do it outdoors, and they have tons of books. And I forgot to film. I was going to film everything, but there were so many people, I just didn't feel comfortable bringing out my camera out and filming. So anyway, I just wanted to go through the books that I picked up. I found some good ones. There weren't a lot of Christian fiction. I usually like to try to find some Christian fiction books, and they didn't. And usually, when I've been there in the past, they have had really a great selection, but this time they didn't have as much. So, but I did pick up a couple. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is this one. It's obviously like an old library copy, but this one's called The Sear and the Sword by Victoria Hanley, and I recognized this book right away because I had just watched a video by Katrie, and she has a booktube channel called, let me make sure I get it right, Book Nerd Katrie, and she did a recent video talking about underrated books, and I'll link her video below. And she mentioned this book, and she said she's not particularly a fantasy reader, but this one she does love. And she said she was talking about it in the video, and so when I was flipping through the books, I recognized the title and the cover, and I had to grab it. And of course, at this book sale, all the paperbacks are 50 cents, so can't go wrong. So I'll just read the back of this for you. It says, "Legend tells of a mighty sword that makes its possessor invincible, but there is a curse on anyone who lifts the sword for conquest. King Carid of Archeld goes after the sword anyway, and wins it from the king of Belandra. When he returns home from battle, King Carid carries two special gifts for his daughter, Princess Tarina," so that must be her. And it says, "One is a unique crystal in which she can view the future." Interesting. "The other is the defeated king's son, Landon, who is to be her slave. Tarina immediately releases Landon, who becomes a member of the king's army and her close friend. But trouble lurks in the kingdom of Archeld, and the people accuse Landon of plotting against the king. Tarina refuses to believe Landon would hurt her family. Then Tarina begins seeing deadly visions in her crystal," right, because she can see the future. "Can she save her father's life and the future of the kingdom?" That sounds really good. So just as a kind of a sneak peek for you, in the month of August, I am probably going to be reading nothing but sci-fi and fantasy. So this might be on my list to read. So that I thought was a really good find. Okay, and then I found this one. This one I had seen on BookTube, people talk about it. It's called The Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. And with all of these books, please let me know in the comments if you read this one. And so this one's supposed to be about somebody that lives out kind of like a hermit maybe, no electricity, no connection, like off the grid, and it's a suspense, kind of a thriller book. So I'm pretty interested. This is a weird shaped book. It's like super thin, like it's not wide like a normal paperback. So that one's I thought was a good find. Okay, and then as some of you, if you're not new to my channel, if you've been around a little bit, and you know that in June my TBR was all World War II books, and so I had read a World War II graphic novel that I'll be talking about that I really love. And so when I saw this book there, this is also a graphic novel, and it has to do with the Japanese families and people that were put into internment camps during World War II. And so I thought, wow, this is a really cool find. and I can, I can read this, and it won't take me much time to read this one, and I'll add that to my TBR this month. And this is called They Called Us Enemy, and it's written by the gentleman the actor that played on, sorry for the glare, the gentleman that played on Star Trek back in the James Kirk days. George Takaki is the one who wrote this. So I'm excited about reading this book. So I thought that was a cool find. Okay, and then I did pick up a couple of books that were in the Christian fiction section. And this one is, or was this? This might have been in the Christian fiction section by Sarah E. Ladd, The Thief of Lwin Manor. And I'm trying to think, do I have any? I don't know if I have any books by her. I might in my stack that I have found at different, I'll have to check. But anyway, this one is set in Cornwall, England, 1818. It says, in Regency, England, an advantageous match could set up a lady for life. Julia knows Matthew Blake, copper mine owner and a very eligible bachelor, is the gentleman she should set her eyes upon. But why can't she steal her gaze away from his younger brother? Uh-oh, she likes the younger brother. Okay, so that sounds like a really, that sounds like would be a good read, I think. And like I said, I don't think no, I'm trying to think, have I read anything by this author? I don't think I have. I might be confusing her with the one that wrote, oh, Judy, I was thinking of Jody London, that wrote the book I read last month, but I can't think of the name off my head. Okay, and then this was another one I found in the Christian section by Linda Nichols, and this one's called, If I Gained the World. If I Gained the World. And so this says, two lives seemingly shattered, one from the inside out, the other from the inside in. Says Lenore hadn't planned on changing their lives forever when she posed her question to Daniel. Let's see here. Lenore and Daniel have a cozy home and a wonderful son, a mirror image of his father. Lenore loves her life and wants nothing to change except for one thing. As innocent as it seemed, her request is the beginning of the end, and their life together unravels. Lenore takes little Scotty and begins her quest for meaning, purpose, and a new start, as far away from those bittersweet memories as she can get. How will these broken hearts move past their pain and find their way to faithfulness, grace, and love? Wow. So this is not this is more of like a contemporary, like a family drama maybe book. And so please let me know if you've read this. I've never heard of this book or this author. And then this one, I recognize the title, but then when I saw it, I think I was thinking of a different book. And this is a book one in a series, but they only have the first book, but that's fine. This one is called The Skin Map by Stephen Lawhead. And this is, when I looked it up, it has to do with like maybe time travel. It says Kit Livingston encounters his great grandfather in a deserted London alley. Surprisingly, as Cosmo has long since disappeared, thought dead, he urges Kit to join him on a quest through time and space in search of a strange map made by another intrepid explorer. So, like an adventure kind of story. They're looking for something, and I guess the map. And so there's 3 books. There's one called, the first one, The Skin Map, then The Spirit Well, and then The Bone House. Has anybody read any of these? I'm curious. So there's that one. And then this one, I got it, probably because I saw the little, the little Netflix, because sometimes those shows are okay. Netflix show. This one's called Leave the World Behind. And it says it's a finalist for a book award. And so this one is about The Washington Post says, the rarest of books, a genuine thriller, a brilliant distillation of our anxious age, and a work of high literary merit. So this says, Amanda and Clay head out to a remote corner of Long Island expecting a vacation, a quiet reprieve from life in New York City, quality time with their teenage son and daughter, and a taste of the good life in the luxurious home they've rented for a week. But a late night knock on the door breaks the spell. Ruth and GH are an older couple. It's their house, and they're arrived in a panic. They bring the news that a sudden blackout has swept New York. But in this rural area, with the TV and internet now down and no cell phone service, it's hard to know what to believe. Should Amanda and Clay trust this couple, and vice versa? What has happened back in New York? Is the vacation home, isolated from civilization, truly a safe place for their families? And are they safe from one another? Leave the world behind explores how our closest bonds are reshaped and unexpected new ones are forged in moments of crisis. That sounds kind of interesting, kind of scary. It's not that long either. Okay, 2 more books here. This one is by, I recognize the author, so I picked it up. Didn't even really look at what this book was about, although it kind of has a pretty cover. Kate Atkinson, and this is called Human Croquet, a novel. Let's see here. And this says it's part fairy tale, part mystery, and part coming of age novel, so part everything pretty much. This is a story of Isabel Fairfax, a girl growing up in Leith, a typical 1960s British suburb. But Leith was once the heart of an Elizabethan feudal estate and home to a young English tutor named William Shakespeare. And as Isabel investigates the strange history of her family, her neighbors, and her village, she occasionally gets caught in Shakespearean time warps. Is this some time travel here, maybe? Meanwhile, she gets closer to the shocking truths about her missing mother, her war hero father, and the hidden lives of her close friends and classmates. A stunning feat of imagination and storytelling. This is a rich novel with the disappointments and possibilities every family shares. This one sounds really good too. Has anybody read this one? Because this is an older book. I think it came out in 2009 when I looked before. Oh no, older than that. 1997. Wow. So let me know if you've read this. And then this last paperback, make sure, yeah, I think that's, this last paperback I got was called When the Stars Begin to Fall by Denise Williamson. It's a Roots of Faith. And then I did notice until I got home that it's a book 2. But this one, maybe this is the one from 2009, because I know I looked up one of them was 2000. Oh no, this is 2001. Okay, so I figured I could find book 1 in the library since it's an older book. Anyway, this one's called When the Stars Begin to Fall, and it has to do with back, I think it's before or during, oh, it's in 1851, during the time of like the plantations down south and slavery. So that's why I picked it up. I thought this would be a really good read. And this is also a Bethany House book. So, but I'll just have to find out what the first book's called and then maybe pick that up at the library. Okay, so those were all the books that I found, paperback books. But I found a really cool find for not only for my daughter for homeschool, but for us as a family. In August, we're going to take a trip to, we're going to visit family and things, but we're going to do a side trip to go to the Mount Rushmore. Stop and think. It's right in front of me, but I had to stop and think. And I found this there, and it's called The Rushmore Story, and it's this old book about how they built, you know, how they built Mount Rushmore and kind of like a history. And I just think that's super cool that we can study this, you know, before we go, so we have, you know, some background of how they built it in the history. I just thought that was a great find. And then right next to it was a book by a gentleman that actually worked to help build Mount Rushmore. And this is his book that he wrote, and it's even signed. Somebody must have picked this up like at they probably went to visit, and it was probably in one of the gift shops. And so this is just a Q&A book with asking him questions, and he has pictures of himself. And see, here's the guy, the older man, and he started working there when he was 15 years old. And so I just thought that was amazing. And then let me see if I can find that picture. That was crazy. I told my husband, they didn't have OSHA back then. So none of these men, they have these men up here that, it's like they don't even have hard hats. They just have a hat on. Oh, let me find that. I should have tabbed it so I wouldn't be. So this is really interesting, all his life, and yeah, I like this picture. You can see the guy up high. Hope that you can see that okay. Oh, here's the picture. See this guy right here? All he just has a regular hat on, and he's just I think he's he might be one of the designers, the sculptor. Yeah. Isn't that amazing how they were able to be up there that high to do that work? It's amazing. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to reading these two books before we go on our trip. Okay, so that is everything that I picked up at the library sale. Let me know if you go do any. Let me know below down in the comments if you've ever visit library sales, if your library in town does them. I think they're awesome. They're amazing because you can find just really good finds for really cheap. I mean, 50 cents for each paperback. You can't beat that. Okay, so thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you later. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.